Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Hashem Shai Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, great millstone, and rule and Shalom to the brothers doing the work, sharing truth. I have once again, on the streets of London, where, it's gone into, so-called New Year, and now this whole Brexit deal's gone through. Well, like the trade deal after Brexit. And it's kind of, you're going to start seeing the implications of all that on top of, it's being tier 4 like now. But recently you had two guys. You had one guy mention there might be like a tier 5. Boris Johnson said he's looking to add on extra restrictions. And one of the other geezer as well was saying like they need to do something within 24 hours. Basically extra restrictions, because they're saying it's like, it's more or less at the point where the, NHS is not going to be able to handle what's going down because of this, this whole C-19 situation. So given all that, it's you're going to see more, more of a squeeze put on by the governments, really following their instructions from the elites. Because this is a thing of plans that have been in the works for a while, and the end goal is further along. It's not like it's been achieved, even just with Maxina. It's not really been achieved. But then it's something you're gonna see continue to escalate, man. Which that's what people ain't really expecting, man. People out here, especially given that it's been like Christmas and New Year's, people normally are reveling, man. Like Christmas, New Year's, that's one of the biggest kind of biggest kind of points in the year where people are meant to have a good time, meant to rave it up, see their family, enjoy themselves, enjoy the folly. But that's not happening. So people are getting acclimatized to, this state of everything just being locked off. Everything just being locked off. So then, it's gonna be, more restrictions are gonna be normalized on a higher level, man. You're gonna see it pushed out heavy, and people are gonna eat it, man. Now you're gonna have pushback. You're gonna have pushback against it. But hey, people are still gonna eat it in the end, man. Because why? It's everyone's thinking about Babylon, man. In fact, I can grab that still. I think it's 19 or is it 20? Let's go 20. Yeah, 22. Oh, okay, now I'm thinking of 18. Okay, yeah. Revelation 18 and 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is after, America's been wiped out, and it's after it gets hit with the nukes, then it's gonna become a desolate wasteland. It's gonna burn for a period of time, a very long period of time. Then it's gonna be smoking as well. Then afterwards, it's just gonna be a desert, man. It's gonna be uninhabited by man. It's just gonna be the creepy crawly things, man. So it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I'll come here, everyone that's out here making money, trying to make a living for themselves, enjoying a capitalistic system. For them, America is that beacon of hope, man. That inspires them. That's what that's what they're kind of looking for from. That's what we're kind of looking to and looking to America for, and what they kind of aspire towards, man. Because that's what America's this in the system America kind of represents. It's that symbol, man. And it says what? And he heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you. Double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. Yeah, so the judgment's going to be double against them. Why? Because of, all the crimes that they've fulfilled, man. Like, peak upon that list is destroying the image of Yahushua, pushing out the lies, the image of Cesare Borgia, man, the so-called white image of Christ, which is complete falsehood. Keeping the 12 tribes in captivity, man. Spreading all forms of wickedness, basically just completely throwing out the scriptures and just pushing complete madness onto the earth, man. All kinds of madness, bro. And that's why it's like people at the top of the food chain, so to speak, in this society. What do they uphold? All kinds of wickedness, all running pedophile rings. These guys are all kinds of degenerates, homosexuals, transgenderism, all these different philosophies. These things are prime near the top, man. Those things are getting pushed out from the elites, man, onto the masses. That's how you kind of have these waves come out, man, where a thing will kind of just be frowned upon, but then it will just be pushed as the completely normalized and accepted, man. Mainly using that media system. Says verse 7, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I will sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Yeah, so these elites have lived deliciously, man. These guys at the top. That's why you see, people are getting all upset with this guy, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. These guys have become super billionaires. And they're saying like they've got enough money to kind of, basically save the world from the vast majority of its problems. But it's really, them guys are a small fish. Because compared to the elites are the ones that have, countries, the banks of countries under control, man. They're the ones who can basically, indebt a country and completely have to under manners and following orders, man. So they're the ones who, and they're the ones who set pace, man. These elites are the ones who are setting pace, these international bankers. And they're essentially creating these scenarios out here, man, where you got madness pushed out. If they so wanted to, they could deal with the, there's like a lot of the hunger and the thirst problems. You've had like, what the fuck are they called? Charities like WaterAid, Oxfam, whatever the fuck. You've had these for like fucking decades on end, and yet somehow it's still, there's still just not enough fucking water in in Africa and Asia and shit, which I don't even like. That don't even make no fucking sense. But it's because those companies, those charities aren't even dealing with the problems, man. A lot of it's you think like how much it is. I remember like WaterAid had one where advert where they were saying like it cost maybe $5 to build a well, and I was like, okay, so people have been donating hundreds of thousands of millions over the course of how many years? I don't know how you haven't managed to build every well that's needed. But then you go into it and then it's like, okay, but then Nestle or Coca-Cola or some motherfuckers all up in their community basically using all their resources for the sake of you know their businesses. So it's basically wickedness on the highest levels, man. They're basically just being like, okay, we're gonna completely fuck these people over, take their resources, take you know what they just what they need to barely get by, and then just use it to maximize our profits, man. And that's what that greed. Which I can get that as well, because that's really Esau's one of his fatal flaws. Man as that unquenchable thirst, man, unquenchable hunger for just to have everything, man. This guy's already got more than he needs. He's had the rule for hundreds of years. This guy's what's it? He's still trying to get even more total control over the people, man. He's got the people that have bugged the fuck out of their minds already, and he's still trying to get more, to push it further. Habakkuk 2 and 4 says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." Yeah, Esau's got his soul is not upright, man, and you can see what's this guy done with the rule, man. He's been in a leadership position. He's had control. How's he dealt with who were meant to be his brothers? Israel's meant to be his brothers, man. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're meant to be his brothers, but then how has he treated us? How has he been towards us, man? Completely antagonistic, man. He's done the utmost to fuck over Jake, man. When he came over to the Americas, what happened? They got desolated, man. Desolated by disease, by murder, by robbery, theft. They were snatched up, taken over to Europe. The whole communities were just annihilated, man. What was it Hispaniola, I believe it was, the island was? Them man just got annihilated. That's kind of how Esau was treating them. You go to the West Coast, what happened, man? Man made a transatlantic slave trade for hundreds of years, then said, okay, yeah, no, we're ending slavery. But then that shit was still running for the longest after, man. But then he's patting himself on the back, saying, we ended slavery. And even now you bring up, but we ended it. That's one of the greatest things. I'm like, bro, what the fuck you talking about, man? You're the ones who set the shit up, man. You created that society, and you gained off it, man. That's the thing as well. All these things have been done. There's been gain off it, but that gain's not been returned, man. You consider like the land of America. Really, how are you meant to rectify that? And that's in the laws as well. How you if blood's been shed on the land, it needs to be shed in response, man. That's why it's just saying a thing like, okay, putting a government program in where we'll throw you a few jobs, or we'll throw you some extra few benefits. I don't know, like, what the fuck you talking about? There's guys that are like multi-millionaires, billionaires with dynasties in certain fields, based off what they gained through slavery, man. They ain't being paid back. They ain't being recompensed. And then that's in was it, I think, John? I'll grab it after. So Habakkuk 2, so it says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Yeah, is as death, enlarges his desire as hell. All the land, man wants every land, man. Man's going to all different corners of the earth, basically just robbing resources from all over the place, man. You wonder why it's like they call it American imperialism. Why is America going around the world to all different locations on the earth and getting involved in skirmishes and wars, funding, using the CIA to kind of support rebels or support, certain types of governments? Why is this thing just become very normal, man, and accepted? Because this guy's got a legendary greed, man. And that's something that people try and be like, oh no, they're just helping out. But then I'm like, oh no, where's the situation that's been helped? You have to consider like Iraq. Man went to Iraq because of 9/11, which was a setup. But then what in the end they went to Iraq off some completely made up nonsense. Man said he has weapons of mass destruction. What do? They completely fucked the country over. Fucked it over so hard, and then afterwards use it to foment that ISIS or ISIL or whatever the fuck set up after as a boogeyman for later on, for even more involvement in that area. So these things are all just like it's all about politics. It's all about power. It's all about control, man. And that's what Esau's ever been down and about, man. Basically utilizing, his forked tongue, his lies, his deception, to basically gain in the earth. It says, and gather unto him all nations, and heap unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taught in proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long unto him that ladeth himself with thick clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be booties unto them? Yeah, so it says what? Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And that's the thing you have to consider, is like the land was the Lord apportioned land onto the different nations, man. Everyone had their lot. And Esau's basically just completely violated all kinds of all standards with to that approach, man. He's basically taken whatever the fuck he wants. Good example is America, man. Anytime, like when they came over, Gad, Northern Kingdom was there. They just like moved Gad out of all the lands that seemed fertile and profitable. And then if they moved them somewhere and then later on found out, okay, there's a gold mine there or there's something there of value, then they'll shift them again and take it over. Just, complete and total greed, man. And how, you've been dealing with people like that. People are gonna have grievances and be upset, which is what you see now. You have people have hella grievances against Esau. Esau's trying to make himself into the angel of light, but then his crimes or his history's there, man. It's recorded. You can go back and witness it. That's why a lot of these movies about, like, Jake don't even like looking at these movies about slavery. But then that's what Jake doing. Jake had to numb themselves and stay ignorant to what's gone down, because otherwise, you get roused up. But then they don't realize that the Lord's gonna revenge that upon Esau. The Lord's gonna be the one to revenge him upon Esau. They're out here thinking about carnal means of revenging themselves. So they might be like, oh yeah, nothing you can really do. You just got to kind of. But then I'm like, nah, you deal with the scriptures, man. The Lord's gonna deal with Esau, and Yahushua is gonna have one of the biggest bones to pick with Esau as well. And it says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Yeah, them heavy debts, man. Because Esau has basically developed this debt-based system, which he's utilized as a form of slavery over the modern form of slavery over the people over different countries, man. You're gonna have countries where it's like you've nabbed their resources. You'll still have companies like the De Beers companies owning like mines of silver, gold, diamonds, all these different precious resources, oil, natural gas, all these things that are used and are worth great amounts. But then they'll just be owned by like one family or one company. From the States, man, a so-called white man will be at the top. So then these are the things where it's like, okay, and then afterwards you're gonna go and you're gonna get these guys in debt to the IMF, and then they're just gonna be like, yo, this is fucked. How are we meant to, pay this shit off? And they're realizing they've been duped, man. They've been duped by Esau. And then, if they start getting rebellious and try and do their own thing, Esau sending the CIA to fuck them over. It's rigged, man. The game's rigged. So this is what verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Yeah, that's it. Everyone's sick and tired of that shit, man. That's why it's like the popularity of I should say the disdain of Americans overseas has been multiplying, especially under the Trump presidency. You've basically had like Americans have been despised on a higher and higher level, man. Why? Because all their crimes are coming out. All that has been done by the elites utilizing America. These crimes have come out, man, and people are disgusted, man. And there was like some of the people that like Trump did a bunch of what the fuck is the word? Pardons, and then like part of it was like the Blackwater mercenary group. They were meant to have murked up a bunch of fucking kids in Iraq, man. You think like how do what the fuck kind of that's meant to be there's meant to be justice coming from them. That's why it's that whole system. It's complete. It's complete wickedness, man. From the bottom up, man. It's based on nothing but wickedness, man. Esau says he's got a justice system, but then it's based on laws that aren't scriptural. Complete madness, man. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood, and for violence of the land, of the sea, and of all that dwell therein. Yeah, because of men's blood. That's the thing. It's just like Esau, these elites who've got hella blood on their hands, hella robberies, hella murder, hella theft. All these crimes are there and accounted for. These things are still hanging in a balance. Esau's trying to pretend like that's that's so far in the past, it's been completely forgotten. No, these things are still held, still in a balance. And really, it's a thing where it's hey, Esau's he's gonna get his the Lord basically gonna take that revenge upon him, man. And that's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing. These the time we're in, where it's the time where prophecy's moving. You're seeing prophecies flying out, from every corner of the earth. See, hey, our Lord's preparing to make his return. These are things that the men of the Lord, we're clued up, man. The Lord's basically put the Spirit on us to be able to observe things and put it together, man. Filter it through the scriptures and understand that the times. So for us, it's it's uplifting to see these things. It brings us immense pleasure to know that hey, our Lord's gonna be making his return soon, and then we're gonna be revenged upon upon all these heathen, man, all these different nations that have basically been capitalized of Jake being in the state we're in, which is something that was schemed by all the nations. It's it's satisfying to know that times at an end, man. 1 Thessalonians 5:1, it says, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Yeah, so we know that this basically the day of the Lord is coming, and the peace and safety, whatever, any form of peace and safety that's being pushed out here is a lie, because everything's getting ready to basically moving into time. It's that time of judgment, man. That time of trouble, that time of tribulation, where it's gonna be getting fucked up, man. People are gonna be getting fucked up. It's gonna get harsh. People are gonna be getting thrown up in jail. People are gonna be getting their heads bashed in by New World Order troops. It's people are gonna be getting shot in the streets. They're gonna be getting shipped off to war. It's gonna be a draft. But it's gonna be a legendary mess, man. People are gonna be getting jacked up. And people aren't prepared for that, man. People don't really know what's getting ready to go down. But hey, the Lord's got his men. We're the watchmen, man, upon the walls, keeping watch. And that's the the spirit you're meant to be in. You're meant to be a spirit of being a watchman, where you're keeping an eye out for what's going down, and you're able to understand these things through the scriptures, man. You gotta be knowing what's going on, because seeing that Brexit deal going through at the last minute, all this, vaccine getting pushed out, further restrictions coming, lets you know this thing ain't gonna be slowing down, ain't gonna be stopping. It's gonna be intensifying, man. So it says, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation.